Good afternoon or good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Talking Packers with Steve, my other podcast I host here on my channel here, the Sports Talk Network. I also, I have Steve's Wrestling Ramble here. I have Talking Packers with Steve. I have my MTV Stream reviews and Scream Queen reviews, which I might actually be doing tomorrow night and tomorrow afternoon, reviewing the fourth episode of season 2 of Scream Queens that is on Fox each and every week. But here, Talking Packers with Steve, another episode. I did this and tune out to Not Fan or Sports Gaming Universe at Not Fan. His Minnesota Vikings being part of my game of the week, and that being the Minnesota Vikings and the Philadelphia Eagles. The game being in Philadelphia, Vikings, the road team there. But I have this game of the week because I think this is a big measuring stick test for the Minnesota Vikings, a big moment in their early stages of the season, so to speak, because they are undefeated. They're doing so well. Coming off a bye week against the Philadelphia Eagles team that have lost now 2 in a row, 2-game losing streak. I was kind of hoping that we got to this week and they're both being undefeated, the last of the undefeated teams in the NFL, and specifically them being in the NFC and having them going head-to-head, face-to-face in Philadelphia, PA, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Then whether the Vikings won or the Eagles won or whatever, it would actually be even a bigger measuring stick for both teams and for the NFC in general. If you think about it, these two are the best. These two right here, 1 and 2, those two teams being the best of the NFC right now, not just record-wise, but just in their play. And that's me saying that as a Packer fan, part of the same division as the Minnesota Vikings. That's another thing I wanted to bring up. I know for fellow Packer fans like my friend John, who might be able to join this episode for a short time, but him, other Packer fans, not Vikings, Bears fans, Lions fans, I usually call the Minnesota Vikings the Vikings and all that other stuff. Yeah, they don't. I don't want to be hearing that. At least I don't want to be hearing that. If you do it, that's fine. Freedom of speech, all that other stuff. But to me, the Minnesota Vikings, the way they're playing and doing it without one of their offensive lines being out for the season, Adrian Peterson, the best running back in the NFL, of this era of the NFL, being out for a long period of time, I guess, so to speak, whether it's the whole season or not, still going to be a long period of time. Losing their starting quarterback before the season even starts in Teddy Bridgewater, maybe we don't want to forget that part, the whole reason why Sam Bradford's in Minnesota at all in the first place. And to think even above that, Sam Bradford, his former team, right there, Philadelphia Eagles, he's going back to, I was going to say back where it all started, but his career did not start in Philadelphia. But it was his last stop, or most recent previous stop being Philadelphia, if you know what I mean. Going back to Philadelphia to face his former team, the team that he probably would have started for if Teddy Bridgewater didn't go down. You think about it as an as if. Now, I know usually for me, I don't think in that way. I go in the thinking of life, everything happens for a reason, move on, adapt to change, and all this other stuff. But if we do play the as if, as some do, Sam Bradford never leaves Philadelphia. Teddy Bridgewater never gets injured in Minnesota. Where would these teams be now? What would people be saying about Sam Bradford? Would he be doing well? Would he suck in Philadelphia and EDP 445 Philadelphia, the Archfiend, others Philadelphia fans to do YouTube videos? Desert Eagle 90, another YouTuber that I actually just came upon actually from an EDP video and then watching his reaction and all that other stuff. So him and other Philadelphia Eagles fans be wanting Sam to be cut and released at this point in the season if he was with the Philadelphia Eagles, because the rookie Carson Wentz, I don't know if he would have been starting if Sam Bradford was still in Philadelphia. I'd have a feeling that the Philadelphia Eagles would have Sam Bradford as the starter for a reasonable amount of time here in the beginning of the season. And then at some point, maybe you have the rookie take the starting spot for your franchise and grooming him and having him for at least the second half, if not the back quarter of the 2016 NFL season for the Philadelphia Eagles, and be able to maybe go on a run or some sort to give the fan base there in Philadelphia hope for the next year with the rookie quarterback, and then he would be the ultimate starter in the 2017 season and go from there. But what actually happened, and Teddy Bridgewater going down during ACL in a non-contact way, as I say, everything happens for a reason. That's my belief, personally. And I would hope Sam Bradford would believe that, because with that everything happening for a reason, with Teddy Bridgewater going down, the Vikings seemed like they traded for Sam Bradford, giving up a first-round pick for him. I mean, at the time, people were saying, "What the heck are the Vikings doing, giving up so much for a quarterback that's fragile and hasn't been playing up to his caliber from what he was playing in college in his rookie year with the now Los Angeles Rams, then St. Louis Rams, with the Rams at that time, and showing how good he was then. He hasn't been playing that way. He hasn't been proven that he's deserving to be the Vikings starting quarterback, no matter what kind of bind they were in. But the Vikings gave him a chance. They gave away a first-round draft pick and other draft picks to get Sam Bradford to bring him to Minnesota. And what he's done, he's been supposed to great numbers, even being more than just a game manager to me. He's actually okay. I apologize for stopping in the middle. Palmer J. Simmons, who's been so far actually a loyal subscriber here to my channel and joining in my live videos here. He was just telling me about, he was talking to my co-host for my wrestling show, which is tomorrow night, Steve's Wrestling Ramble, or the Be in History podcast, or, episode off of Steve's Wrestling Ramble. Kind of its own segment that he said it sounds good to him. We'll see if that happens moving forward. And he's predicting, Palmer, is that the Vikings are going to be winning on the road at Philadelphia. So I just wanted to share that since Palmer's in the chat and took time to give his comments. But anyways, back to that topic. The Vikings, not as fan. And then, I was talking about, the fans out there from our division calling them the Minnesota Vikings. This is not the time to be doing that. Like I said, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that BS. I don't want to hear it on Twitter, Facebook, or anywhere else, at least to me, because I know it's just, trash talking is how it works in the NFL between teams, especially between big rivalries. You would think coming up tomorrow night, the Packers facing the Bears, trash talking between Bears and Packer fans nationwide, not just in Illinois and Wisconsin. Those states. Those states are the teams. But, for the Vikings, like I said, as fan and other Viking fans and Minnesota State natives, and Viking fans around the world they'll throw it right back at us. So I see the Vikings sweeping the Bears, sweeping the Lions, and maybe even sweeping the whole division, sweeping us, our team, or my team that I support, Green Bay Packers, sweeping us. I wouldn't be surprised by that. I don't think that'll happen. I think we'll even the odds, so to speak, make it a 1-1 for the season. But I won't be surprised if the Vikings sweep us this season because of how good they've been playing, and I'm sure continually will be playing. So I want to give a shout out to Nas Fan. Check him out here on YouTube. Sports Gaming Universe. Again, that's Sports Gaming Universe. He does Madden series, baseball, all the video games, really. I'm sure he's actually, I know that he started a series for WWE 2K17 and other stuff. He does other things as well, vlogs and informational stuff. He's becoming big and awesome here on YouTube, because he's worked hard. He spends a lot of time creating his videos, editing them, making the best content he can for his subscribers. And as one of them, I do really appreciate that because hard work will pay off, and it has already paid off. Like I said, he's already a big YouTuber, but he's growing to be even bigger, faster, stronger, like they say, and like they said when I was in high school athletics. They said it in the gym there, or in the weight room. In our high school, bigger, faster, stronger, and I'm sure they say it in all of them. But anyways, that's to Nas Fan, at Nas Fan, Sports Gaming Universe. Definitely would love to have him on the show sometime, talk Minnesota Vikings, maybe the week we face the Vikings later this season. We'll certainly see. Palmer's prediction is Vikings over the Eagles, 35-34. Hey, you never know. It could be a shootout there in Philadelphia. The Vikings and the Eagles. I would hope, for nothing less, these two are going to be the best in the NFC. This could even be a preview. Could be. I mean, I'm sure our team, or my team, the Green Bay Packers, Arizona Cardinals, and others would have something to say about this, but I think this matchup here coming up in Week 7 could be a preview of the NFC Championship game. And to be quite honest, if they're going to have this matchup again in the NFC Championship game, it'd be reversed, and it'd be Philadelphia, Minnesota getting the number 1 overall seed, and home field advantage throughout the playoffs and the NFC Conference. So, you have that kind of playing into it as well. Obviously, we still have the other half of the season to play, but so right now it just seems like these two are head and shoulders better than the rest in the NFC. And I think, if anything, you would need a miracle or a team trip it up in one day, any given Sunday in the playoffs for our other team to defeat either of them to make it further into the playoffs at that point. But that's why this game, Vikings at Eagles, my game of the week for NFL Week 7. National Football. Looking forward to it for sure. My Packers play tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network against the Chicago Bears at home. Now, our team, or my team, the Packers, the Green Bay Packers have our own set of issues with quarterback being on Sam Shields on the IR, Eddie Lacy doubtful pretty much for the game, if not already ruled out. We traded for Nile Davis of the Kansas City Chiefs, brought him in as a running back, kind of an emergency running back. I didn't see in the paper or online if there was any what we trade away for to get Nile Davis. I don't think it was much. I assume a 6th-round draft pick or whatever. But let's welcome John.
How's it going, man?
Looking comfortable over there. John, welcome to the show. How you doing this evening?
Pretty good, man. I'm kind of questioning that Vikings helmet behind you right now, though.
Don't worry. It's just this week's thing. It is my game of the week. Don't you think this would be the game of the week to you too?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I see the Vikings walking away with it, but yeah, definitely going to be a good one.
Yeah, I guess first thing to bring up is something that I already obviously brought up, and that being the Vikings are going to be pretty much sweeping our NFC North. I already talked about that. I see them sweeping the Bears for sure, the Lions as well. And I wouldn't even be surprised if they sweep us, the
Yep.
Green Bay Packers. I don't see that happening, but I won't be crabby about it if it happens. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think Minnesota is actually a Super Bowl contending type of team?
I think everything depends on Sam Bradford. Their defense, if they can keep their level of play, if they stay healthy, they're going to be just fine. But if Sam Bradford gets hurt, or if something happens in that department, they're gonna go south quick.
Yeah, that's at any game Sunday. You never know. Because I was thinking and saying that this matchup, that's my game of the week this week, could be the NFC Championship game, but only in reverse. The game being in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's true.
But anyways, I also want to get your thoughts. Obviously, the Packers in their situation, secondary, Sam Shields now on the IR. It's highly doubtful if I don't even know if he's been ruled out yet. Getting now Davis and Kansas Chiefs and other sort of situations. And Aaron Rodgers not playing like Aaron Rodgers in the last couple of weeks. What are your thoughts on everything, and how do you think is the best way to try to get that fixed, sorted out, and try to get us back to where we can be and have been in the past?
Oh man, wow. Does anyone know the answer to that? No.
If only.
It's just
Well,
crazy, man. It just feels like 2010 with all the injuries. Like it doesn't, you know what I mean? It's just like I remember that year just being like, well, we'll see if we survive, and that's gonna be it. And all of a sudden we got hot, but that was a dark time. It's tough watching a football team that's just hurt. That can't perform at their level because they're missing so many pieces. Their defense can play okay. I mean, they shut Odell Beckham down and that Giants offense. So I think they can play well. It starts with that run defense. And in between, that read option with Dak and Ezekiel Elliott, and honestly, the Dallas Cowboys having the best offensive line in football. It was one of those overwhelming things where we had Gunter out there who was going against, number one wide receivers and just getting burned and falling down. And, if you can't stop the pass, then you can't stop the run. If you can't stop the run, then you can't stop the pass. And it's one of those things. We played a dang good football team the last couple of weeks, and, we lost. It is what it is. It's not like we played a crappy team and played terrible. I mean, we didn't play well, and we didn't lose terribly to a really good team. It all is going to come down to Aaron Rodgers this week and how he plays. I think our defense will play okay. I think Nile Davis might play a little bit and might be, decent. It's just going to come down to being healthy. We can be healthy, and Aaron Rodgers can play. If he can hold on to the football, have no turnovers, if we can be in the positive on turnovers, I think we will come away with a win. The Bears are hurt just as bad as we are. So
No, exactly. That's what I was saying. Well, in our interaction with you and me on Twitter, I know I was talking about how lucky that we're facing the Bears next week, or this week
yeah,
now. Facing the Bears this week now, where I think, Aaron can bounce back at 6 touchdowns. or something that kind of a performance, kind of a relaxed situation where
Yeah,
it was just a situation. It's facing a Dallas Cowboy defense and our defense, and Dak Prescott just playing out of his mind right now. To be quite honest, the rookie and how good he is. And, that controversy between Dak Prescott and Tony Romo that Jerry Jones has to decide on, kind of Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady-esque of that time period. But
yeah.
us facing the Bears and when they're playing tomorrow night and everything, I think it's going to be great for Cousins. We'll be able to bounce back. Maybe not 6 touchdowns for him, just 2 to get him bounce back, get his confidence back. Quite honest,
Yep.
get him back in a
Make
rhythm.
some good
I
throws.
think it's a little bit both of whether it was Aaron's fault in some plays, receiver's fault. I think it should go blame all around.
Yeah.
As much as
Well, I think he just needs time to play with those guys. I mean, he had a few years there where he always had the same three guys, and he always had the same two at least with Jordy and Randall Cobb. Just knew all the timing was down, all the routes were good, and they had threw in those other guys that would just get open due to them playing. And now you have Randall Cobb that he's mainly the only guy that he even has any timing with. But even that's off because now he's playing in a different position than he was last year. And Jordy Nelson, yeah, he's playing well, but they got to get their timing down. They're not on the same page anymore. They're not making the same simple throws that they were because they haven't played for over a year. And again, Randall Cobb, yeah, he's been there, but he was in a number one spot. Now he's back to that number two spot. So he's in a whole new route tree. And then you got all these other young guys that are jumping around back and forth. And I'm playing with this guy. Well, now he's hurt. So it's just all these, concussions and stuff on our team, and no receivers playing in the same spot. And Rodgers has to find and has to get that timing down again. Um, a Rodgers on a bad day, I think any team in the NFL would take him unless they have Tom Brady or Drew Brees or Ben. Any team other than them would take Aaron Rodgers on a bad day, no matter what. And that's something that us, honestly spoiled Packer fans have to accept that a bad day for Rodgers is still better than 90% of the NFL.
Yeah, because if Rodgers goes down, with Brett Hundley or someone, that quarterback, and how screwed we would be, in our situation, if that actually happened this week or any
Yep.
week in this season. So we kind of blessings of having Aaron as a quarterback, whether a good day or bad
That's
day,
right.
performance either way. I mean, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL as of right now. So not to worry too much about it. I mean, you worry about injury, but you worry about, if you have bad performance, that can be a overriding factor in the entire season. It's just gonna be a game by game, like you said. Any given Sunday, things happen, whether it's his fault or not. So I'm definitely looking forward to playing tomorrow night. I think the quick turnaround could be a good thing for us, especially if you like the Bears and their own struggles and Keller being benched and everything. Um,
Yeah.
I think also for the defense, it's showing up. And Simon Shields now on IR, which is unfortunate because of a concussion like situation. Be able to be the defense, be our whole entire team. We're past just to get that going and playing Chicago, which is going to help. And so we get back into it, having some time off, as you stated before, having like a mini bye, getting some people healthy, getting places back and everything. I think it's definitely going to be helping us marching on to the second half of the season.
You cut out there. I couldn't hear you. That last part.
I was just saying, what's the second half of the season? I think that we can be able to catch up. I mean, Minnesota's undefeated, but we can slip up, as you said. Sam Bradford and how he plays, and we could still have a chance to get this division. Start playing Packer football.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, and I have a lot of Vikings fans as friends and people that I see every day at work, and they're all on cloud nine. But even the biggest Vikings fans that I know still say, yeah, this is great and everything, but it's like being a Cubs fan like I am. It's most seasons end in a letdown. So they're excited, but at the same time, I think they're very cautiously optimistic. A lot of them because they know at any moment it could be over. Or they could go 15-0 and lose in the first round of their, after they get they lose in the first round on a bad field goal or something. Who knows? So it's just one of those things that they have, they're excited and they're enjoying the ride, and I commend them for, we'd be doing the same thing. But again, it could be over in the blink of an eye. Who knows? All of a sudden, Sam Bradford gets hurt, and then what do you do? I mean, it's one of those things that I think they'd still be good no matter who their quarterback is because of their defensive play. Because look at the Broncos. I'm sorry, Peyton Manning, Hall of Fame quarterback, but he was not playing anywhere near at a level, even probably where Sam Bradford's at. He wasn't playing as well as even Sam Bradford.
Hmm.
and they won a Super Bowl because their defense was so consistently completely shut down any team that they played. It's if the other team doesn't ever have their offense on the field, all your offense has to do is just be a game manager and move down the field. Plus, Peyton Manning had Demaryius Thomas and all these crazy, people that he could just toss the ball to, and a 90-yard touchdown would appear off of a bubble screen. So, I mean, if you have a great defense and you have some skill people, sky's the limit, and it just being healthy. It always seems like we had a great defense start of the year, and now injury, 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 injury. 7 guys later, our secondaries in shambles. Our D line isn't playing as well now because the teams can pass the ball, and quarterback maybe isn't playing well. When you have receivers down, it's just injuries change everything, and every team in the league knows that. And an undefeated Vikings team, everything could change tomorrow for them. So enjoy the ride. That's all I can say.
Yeah, anything can happen for the teams on highs. I mean, the Eagles were undefeated. Now they're on a two-game losing streak. Might make it three. And then the next
Yeah,
week,
I
I think
mean,
they play the Dallas Cowboys. Can make it four in a row. They can go from 4-0 to 4-4. So,
yeah,
and then for the bad teams that are 1-5, for the Carolina Panthers or others, um, I mean, we're not in a bad record. But I'm just saying, just in general, that things could go well or bad for teams that are at highs or lows in the NFL. That's why you have a whole entire season to play it off. Every Sunday matters. You might get a Cleveland Brown upset this weekend against Cincinnati. You never know. But I did want to bring something up that I actually saw actually on a Facebook fan page post. Someone bringing up in a Packers group actually about Mike McCarthy with these struggles and everything. That maybe after the season we might have to let him go. Might have to be fired and get a new head coach. What are your thoughts on that thinking or whatnot of Mike McCarthy? Maybe we might have
well,
to let him go and then fire him.
well, one, it's not going to happen. Because Green Bay, thankfully, is one of those markets that doesn't listen to the wolves. Things go bad and everybody just screams fire somebody. That's everywhere in the NFL. And you look at any team that's gotten rid of their head coach, how is it? Has that team immediately gotten better? Unless their head coach was consistently bad, 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 and that players talk bad about him. But dude, you don't hear any of that with McCarthy. And the biggest reason you can't can him is okay. People talk about Rodgers' prime, and he clearly isn't in his prime. He's on not the downward slope, but he's on a slow decline. He's not going to be the guy he was in 2011 and 2010 and 2012 and whatever.
Hmm.
But if you get a new head coach, that means a new scheme, a new offense, a new repertoire. You got to get comfortable with that. You're going to waste 2 years of Aaron Rodgers' career that who knows how many he has left. I mean, you're just going to hurt the team even more then. I mean, maybe you get a new head coach and everything goes great, whatever. But it, how many guys are out there that you can be Green Bay's head coach is going to change everything? Name one guy we could hire. No, you can't. There isn't one.
Yeah, and I agree 100% there. I mean, I disagree as well. I just want to get your thoughts on that because I see it responded there on that fan page on that post specifically. I think it's Packer Fanatics. I think that was the name of
Yep.
the fan page, and I was running that post, and kind of like exactly what you're saying. Like, who do you think, since you're the one that brought up the post or whoever that person was, like you said, who do you think is a better coach? Who do you think would be a better fit for that team? And I didn't really get any response. That, except for anybody but McCarthy. But beyond that, I didn't get any real response of an answer. That person's pick would be the next head coach and be better and be suited for this team. I mean, you don't want to, upset Bedlam either, even though things aren't going great. I mean, he's respected and got love and respected on his team, and like to play for him. Kind of like Jets teams originally in the past wanting to play for Rex Ryan. That kind of situation in New York before he was
Yeah.
let go at some point. Obviously now he's a good coach, but same
I
thing
think a
here in
great
Green Bay. Mike McCarthy. So I don't see him being this year or next year. I think for him to be banned, either there's always welcome or it's a slew of seasons that are bad, and even that to me would have to be like 2-13 seasons in a row or something for that to happen.
Yeah. I
Then
mean,
even just bad seasons of 7-9.
well, I mean,
I
look
truly
at
see
look
that
at what we
happening.
had last year. Look at the quality of a team that we had. Honestly, I mean, we had I just whatever last year was. I don't know. And look how far we went. I mean, I'm sorry if that's not players overcoming and good coaching. I don't know what it is. And look at the start of this year. How many people always at the end of last year, whatever, hated Dom Capers every year. It's Dom Capers, Dom Capers.
Right.
His defense was number one in so many categories, and then now there's 5 injuries on the defensive side of the ball, but yet it's Dom Capers' fault. How's that a coach's fault? And like, well, he didn't get players to to fill it in. Like, what team has 9 starting cornerbacks that are all starters? They don't. You have 4, 3. And if they're all gone, we have a draft pick, a draft pick this year that's a rookie starting at cornerback. I mean, what because you plan for that. Like, and you try to keep jars on the shelf and whatever, and we have them thankfully, but they're not going to be as good as a Randall. They're not going to be as good as a Sam Shields, but they're there. I just blows my mind how people just freak out about coaches, and I'm like, players, not plays. You should be able to, if you have a good team, any coach will make it work. A great coach will make it fantastic. And if we were the number 1 in rushing defense, and then we have all these injuries in the secondary, and all of a sudden teams start passing and they can run. I mean, I don't know. The coaching thing just drives me crazy. I'm like, we know nothing of what they know, so just close your mouth. Then think the number 1 example of what happens when you listen to the wolves, so to speak, the media and people yelling about a head coach. Look at Jim Harbaugh. Look at the 49ers. What happened to them?
Exactly.
And now look at Michigan. They have Jim Harbaugh. All of a sudden, they're a really quality college football team. That's just, I don't know. I mean, when you listen to the Wolves, you get what you get what you ask for. You get change. Change is not always good.
Yeah, just go to the 2016 election about where we want change. But anyways,
Oh,
making America great again. Right? Anyways,
don't even get me started.
I know. Well, thank goodness it's not a political thing, but I do have a political Twitter handle. It is not a political show. But anyways, I was trying to think of where my train of thought was going. Oh yes, I did also see on Twitter, not tweeting at me, but just in general on the Twitter notifications after the Packer game against Dallas. Cowboy fan, the Twitter handle, I do apologize as individual, but he was talking about the new curse of Brett Favre.
Oh,
Favre at the game.
I said the same thing, man.
We were there.
I said the same thing.
And we lost to Chicago and against Dallas. His being honored to halftime. Hall of Fame of the NFL, we lose.
Oh, man.
It's just coincidence, people. I don't think it's a curse. I want Brett Favre.
It's just coincidence. It's just funny to say.
And I'm sure there's fake. There might even be games that Brett Favre had Packer games at home, but it's just not quantified by the media because he's not there for a specific reason. He's trying to hide or whatever. Even though he is Brett Favre, how do you hide? I see that side of it, but you know what I mean. That he can beat other games and win games, and it's fine. But I just thought that was kind of interesting. Just wanted to bring that up. If we were talking about the Wolves and stuff like that.
The funniest thing I saw about the Brett Favre and his curse or whatever with the Packers was, Dak Prescott going into the Packers game had not thrown a pick yet. And they showed pregame that Brett Favre went up and talked to Dak. And then they kind of zoom in slowly after like 4 pictures, and it shows Brett Favre's hand on his throwing shoulder. And it said, hasn't thrown a pick yet. And then at the bottom, it shows another picture and it has Dak's head down after he threw the pick. And it was like, thanks, Brett Favre. So it was Brett Favre touching him and made him throw an interception, that Brett Favre curse. So that was pretty entertaining, at least. So.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I wasn't going. We talk about the Wolves. I know we also get yearly, annually, weekly, whatever of the Wolves. Packer fans or minority of Packer fans are getting rid of wanting Ted Thompson out of here because of his decision of drafting and
yeah.
So it's pretty much, as you said before, it's happening with all teams in this fan base, but it's just crazy sometimes when you deal it with your own team and your own fan base. There's some that minority of that we need to just get rid of everything. New head coach, new GM, new ownership, just restart. Think logically.
It's just the I want it now mentality.
And reasonable. That's not really the right way to go.
Yeah, it's just the I want it now mentality. It's the Willy Wonka I want it now, and being spoiled rotten. We want to win. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to be good right now, and they want to win. They want to just it's just my students at school. They just they want it now and want it as fast as possible. They want to know the answer. They want they want whatever now. We all do. I get that, but that's not how life works. That's what we have to understand. Nothing works that way. There's nothing you can just get now. That's good. I mean, there's something had to have happened for it to just work like that. And then also just bad crap happens. I mean, injuries happen, whatever. I don't know. The coaching thing baffles me and blows my mind. We have no control over it. Just shut your mouth and watch. It's a spectator sport. We don't get to, we can hoot and holler. It makes us feel better. That's fine. But I don't know. There's tons of teams that would kill to have Ted Thompson. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Like you said, it's like if you actually go through Twitter notifications during a Sunday, whether it's about our Packers or any other team or any other game, of
Oh,
the minorities of his fan base is freaking out to the things like I don't know. Have you ever seen? I'm sure I've asked you this before, but have you ever seen videos of EDP 445 of the Eagles and on his YouTube channel? You know, he
yeah.
freaking. I know last week during the Eagle game or after after their first loss against Detroit and everything, freaking out thinking the sky's falling, season's over, and they got their first loss. So, you know, those
Well,
kind of things. It was
yeah,
actually
people
pretty
gotta just breathe, man. I love when Vic Ketchman had his blog, and he only does it occasionally now, once a week or whatever. But
cool.
it's just, football's not life. Football is something we get to enjoy. It helps us, memories, whatever. But if you can't go throughout, if a football game ruins your day, you need to change your priorities. If that's the worst thing in your whole week is the Packers losing a football game, life's pretty good for you. Like, think about that for a second. How many people can say that the worst part of their week was the Packers losing?
Mhm.
If it is, man, you got it pretty good. If that's all you're worried about is the Packers lost or the Eagles lost and now the sky's falling, you got it pretty good. You got to kind of prioritize life. It's just a game. We can't control a single outcome of it. Just sit back and enjoy. And when it's over, shut it off. Drop an F bomb and then move on. Whatever it's going to be for you, but move on. I started that mentality when the Packers blew up immensely and the Seahawks beat them. It was one of those, like, it was just, I was so in awe of what just happened. And I was like, well, let's shut the TV off and go do what we were going to go do. Like, all right, bye, it's over. And people are like, oh my God, can you believe it? I'm like, nope, can't believe it. But, you know, that's life. Move on. I can't control it. If a football game is going to ruin my day, then I probably shouldn't be watching football.
Yeah, I mean, I think the mentality of anything I do or anything I watch and enjoy, like TV shows, you know, or ending of a TV show or ending of a series or football, WWE and pro wrestling, you know, something isn't booked away in life and that sort of stuff, you know, just take it with a grain of salt, move on, and can't dwell on things like that, or at least shouldn't have to be dwelling on those things. It's just sports, it's just entertainment, it's fun, you know, enjoy it for what you while you're enjoying it, and you just go from there, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, but I know that people just, there's people that just get fired up. I have family members that are just screaming about politics, screaming about the Bears. I got a lot of Bears fans that are in my family because a lot of people from Chicago.
Hmm.
And they're huge Bears fans, and they're not, you know, they're 1-5 or 1-4, whatever they are. Soon to be one more loss, right?
Right.
And it is what it is. They've come to grips with it. It's a game. Move on. That's what you got to do. I mean, if we could make everybody healthy by screaming, then okay, let's get to screaming. But it's not how it works.
Yeah, I know my friend Jay, of talking to the PA podcast I'm part of, this Talks Pro Wrestling. He's a fan of the Cleveland Browns, so we know his pain each and
Oh,
every year with Cleveland. So and he just brushes things off and you know hopes for the best, but doesn't really think that's going to happen anytime soon, sort of thing. You know, so he takes it with a grain of salt himself in his situation with the Cleveland Browns.
oh man, to be a fan of a team that consistently every year has the opportunity to be in the playoffs and maybe be a Super Bowl contender. I mean, how nice is that? I mean, I haven't been around in my lifetime as a Packers fan. I've never experienced a season where I didn't think we could win a Super Bowl because I've had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers basically as the quarterbacks my entire life.
Hmm.
Now imagine, yeah, Cleveland Browns guy that, man, it's been since the 70s since they've had like a dominant team, but they were dominant, but now it's just been, I don't know. Holy crap, how do you live with that? I mean, we're so spoiled to be able to have that. It's just outrageous. I mean, enjoy it while we got it, guys, because even a season like this isn't gonna, we're not gonna have seasons this good at someday. It's possible anyway.
Yeah, then like that friend was telling me of the Packers of the past before I was born, of the low time periods of the Packers and not being good in the bottom of the NFC Central, as it was called back then, and nothing else now. How we're getting spoiled and being spoiled. The Packers being super contenders playoffs, making the playoffs each and every year, not having to worry over can we make it to the playoffs this year? We're going to make it. This is how far we're going to go. Do we have to make the
Yep.
Super Bowl? That's our biggest worry. That's our only worry. Not of us even going to the playoffs. So yeah, we should be counting our blessings for everything in that way. Being lucky
Oh
and
yeah.
spoiled to have the quarterbacks we had, the teams we had, and the success that we have coming like my friend that's a fan of the Patriots, of them being in the playoffs every year and Super Bowl contenders and stuff
Yep.
like that. So Patriots fans, Packers fans, both being in that same boat for the last long time, for a lifetime. I mean, heck, we've met Super Bowl 31, Packers Patriots. So
Yep.
Excuse me. How the Patriots are today and how the Packers are today are very lucky comparative to Jacksonville Jaguar fan, Cleveland Browns fans. So there's always, the other side of the coin.
Oh yeah, there's that's the NFL. It's parity. If we don't have parity, then no one's going to watch. I mean, that's what it's going to be.
And again, in my bold prediction, I do have Jacksonville a part of one of those four teams that have making the playoffs this year. So hopefully they can get a winning streak started and make it for Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, Oakland, and LA. I have four teams that I see making the playoffs. And I call bold prediction for the 2016 playoffs. If we get to that point, hopefully, that can come from fruition. And Oakland, they could have grabbed a hold on the AFC West, but I still see in the end them winning that division.
I think Oakland's gonna surprise some people this year for sure. I think of all the teams you just named, I think Oakland's the one that has the biggest upside for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely one of those four teams. Yeah. I mean, Los Angeles surprised me after being thoroughly embarrassed in these games.
Oh, I'm
Actually,
really glad I
they're
drafted
playing pretty good.
early in fantasy.
Yeah. I mean, I have so many fantasy. I don't remember who's in which one.
Yeah, I keep it simple this year. Just two.
Yeah, so I know yesterday I went on my NFL analyst on both of them because I usually do that stuff on Tuesdays, checking up to see if I won the previous week. And sometimes I find out I have players on one team that I didn't even know I had on that team because I have so many other teams and leagues and all this other stuff. Like, I know I had and one of the teams I have defensive player league or whatever that's called.
Oh yeah,
And I
that's a
had
crazy one.
to trade Sam Shields. I had to get pick someone up on the free agency for Sam Shields since he's
Oh,
not around.
yikes.
So I had to make some other moves. Teams I buy off those basic moves each and every week because I don't want to be caught with having a game where I could have had some points, but I don't have any points because I kept my roster and I have a player on there as a starter that's on the bike.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's crazy to keep up with that stuff. I got a couple minutes here, man, before I gotta go. So I don't know if you got anything
Okay,
else to talk
well,
about quick,
since
but I
I
gotta
did
roll.
thank you for your time, and you let me know when you have to go. Are there any last words on the game, your prediction, or anything else you want to bring up before you have to leave for the evening?
Oh, I mean, I think the Packers are gonna win. I think it's gonna be a little tougher game than we think. I think if Hoyer's in there, our secondary is decent, but we're gonna give up some of those plays over the top. But luckily, Hoyer maybe isn't gonna make some of those throws like like Eli missed and things like that. So I think we're gonna need a little bit of luck. And for sure, I think special teams is gonna have to play a big part. Running, giving us good field position, and maybe even scoring some points. That would be really helpful. If we can get a kick return or a punt return for a touchdown, just give a little breather to our defense, give a little breather to our offense. I think that's gonna change the outcome of the game, and just hold on to the football. If we hold on to the football and we maybe make some big plays on special teams, I think it's a winnable game. That's gonna kind of give us a little bit of momentum going into Atlanta, which is gonna be a very scary game. I don't even want to talk about that with Julio. I don't even want to know about his next 300-yard possible game. But I think we can escape with a win from this one, just with some solid quarterback play. It doesn't need to be 6 touchdowns, which I would love to see. Love to see that swagger come back and maybe a belt get put on or something, get a little swagger. But I think the Packers can do it. I think they will do it. And Packers Bears is always fun to watch. It's going to be a good game no matter what. I just hope we're not biting our nails in the fourth quarter this time. Let's just put it away.
Do you have a score prediction, or are you just doing Packers win?
Oh, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say we're gonna have to put up 20. I'm gonna say we're gonna have to probably put up 20, 24 to 31 points, and I think the Bears are gonna squeak a couple out there on offense. They're gonna kind of push a couple plays that we're not ready for, maybe some big plays, and they're gonna be in that 21 range. I think it's gonna be 21-24 or 21-31.
Okay, yeah, for me, I might as well just do mine here while I have you on still. I'm gonna go with the Packers over the Chicago Bears, 25-17. I'm getting the win. Defense showing up, even getting a pick six in there. Part of my scoring in there. So 35-17 Packers over the
I like
Bears. And
it.
just so you know, I don't know if you already know before you leave here that the Falcon game has been flexed from noon
Yep.
to 3:15. So
Yeah, hope we can actually watch it this time. So,
for sure, man. But thank you for stopping
all
by.
right. Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
As my friend John, fellow Packer fan, shareholder, Green Bay Packers. Welcome to follow him on Twitter at Packers Fans Stempy. Packer fan Stempy on Twitter. He does join the show whenever he can. He is busy. He has a family, kids, young kids. So obviously, family first over podcast. So, so he is on when he is available, and I do appreciate that he even takes any time out of his day to be on my show um, any week, this week or otherwise. And I look forward to having him again when time permits for him. So definitely appreciate it. He's a smart man. He knows what he's doing. And I don't know if you're new to the show, if you're new to this channel, um, we officially met at the Packer game last week or last year. Brett Favre being honored at Thanksgiving game. Yeah, Packer fan Stempy. I look at him on Twitter. He was a fan of the show before then, but we actually met during the Packer game on Thanksgiving, and now the friendship going from there. And glad to have him on the show. Look forward to having him again, giving his thoughts on the Packers and even giving a prediction time to time. I appreciated that as well. So let's, without further ado, I did already give my prediction for Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network tomorrow, starting at 7 p.m., 7:25 p.m. around the time. You never exact with kickoff times, but let's say just before 7:30 tomorrow night on CBS and NFL Network. CBS probably for local markets for the Bears and Packers, and then NFL Network for everyone else. Just my thinking, or maybe not. Maybe CBS, NFL Network, everywhere. But I don't know. That seems like that goes week to week on its own situation, what games are going to be on CBS and then CBS and NFL Network. I think it's just easier to have it as a flat thing of having it CBS and NFL Network the whole time, every week, for at least the first eight games. So that'd be week 2 to week 9. And then after that, all the Sunday Night Football games will just be on the NFL Network. And that'll be, that's in its own way. So, all right, let's go through the Giants. Matt of Matt's Madness, at Matt's_Madness. Check him out, mattsmadness.com as well. His New York Giants against the Los Angeles Rams. I'm actually going to go with the Rams. Rams going to win. Rams over the Giants, 17-13. It's a low-scoring game. Game of the week, Vikings at Eagles. As I already talked about why it's the game of the week, and definitely a big test for Sports Gaming Universe. Not as fan as his Vikings, just as much as for EDP Philadelphia, Arch and others of the Eagles Nation. I'm going to go with the Vikings getting a win on the road, continuing their undefeated winning streak, of course. Vikings over Eagles. That's just being a noon game. The Rams-Giants are being played in London. Maybe another reason to go with the Rams getting the win. I mean, the Jaguars got to win this season as they usually do in London. So, hey, the Rams, Los Angeles, who's playing a lot better than I even thought they would, at least at the start of the season. Then, as I said with John here about them being part of my bold prediction of playoff teams, that's why another reason why I have the Rams over the Giants. But the Vikings over the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to go low scoring, or at least low scoring for these two teams. We're going to go 35-24. 35-24 Vikings over the Eagles. Buffalo Bills versus the Miami Dolphins. We got the Dolphins over the Bills, 17-13. Browns against the Bengals. The Browns actually having a chance to get the win over the Cincinnati Bengals on the road. Kind of like a trap game for Cincinnati, but I see the Bengals in the end pulling out a victory, 17-14. JB of Team Boy TV Live. JB at Raven Shogun on Twitter, at Raven Shogun. His Baltimore Ravens against Albert of Main Event Marks, which is still on hiatus. Albert at Inky Craft on Twitter. His New York Jets, Ravens at Jets. I'm going to have the Ravens over the Jets in this one. The Jets are just a mess in their own right. Ravens over the Jets, 13-3. Lindsay Brooks Bell. Lindsay Bell on YouTube and on Twitter at Lindsay Bell. Check her out and her vlogs. Great content, sweet, kind woman. Definitely a good friend of mine. And our Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the San Francisco 49ers at Woot. At Woot IT on Twitter. A fan of the show on Twitter. His 49ers against Lindsay's Buccaneers. I'm going to go with the Buccaneers over the 49ers, getting the win on the road, 27-17. Saints, Chiefs. I got the Chiefs over the Saints, 17-10. Stephen A. of Talking WWG at Stephen A. 1181. Again, that is at Stephen A. 1181. His Indianapolis Colts against the Tennessee Titans. I have actually the Colts over the Titans, 35-13. 35-13 Colts over the Titans. I just think as much as the Colts have kind of been a Jekyll and Hyde kind of team this season, at least to me, I think they're going to get their act together here against Tennessee. To be quite honest, inferior opponent for Indianapolis, at least at this juncture of the season. Not saying Tennessee's terrible, but comparative to the Colts, that's why I have the score what it is. Louis T, the Louis T Network, at In the Rad Room on Twitter. His Washington Redskins against the Detroit Lions. I actually have the Lions over the Redskins. 24-17. 24-17. Raiders against the Jaguars. Two of my teams that I have in my bold prediction to make the playoffs, Raiders and Jaguars. I'm going to go with the Raiders. Sorry, Jaguars, but hopefully you'll get a winning streak after this. But the Raiders over the Jaguars, getting the win on the road. Noon game. Raiders defeating the Jaguars 35-17. And the Vikings-Eagles game, that is my game of the week, starts at noon. Probably will be the game shown on CBS. No, on Fox. I was trying to think. CBS is AFC games. Fox is the NFC games. Vikings-Eagles will be Fox at noon. Raiders-Jaguars, hopefully, will be the game on CBS. So I'll be going back and forth because those two are two big games that I'll be watching. The game of the week officially for me, Minnesota Vikings, Philadelphia Eagles, and then the Oakland Raiders, Jacksonville Jaguars on CBS. At least that's where I think it's going to go. You never know with the networks what game they actually show. Plus also the market that you're in. Since the Packers played or will play tomorrow night on Thursday, the Raiders and Jaguars, Jacksonville, Florida, Oakland, California, not really close. Vikings, of course, makes sense for Fox in our market here in Wisconsin. Being in the same conference, being from Minnesota, and all those jazz as well. So I'm just bringing that up, I guess, for some reason as well. San Diego Chargers against the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons keep on moving on. Chargers, they've been improving, at least the last couple of weeks. Obviously, especially what the Chargers could be. And I really thought they would be starting off here in the season. But like any team, even teams like the Dolphins and others, that it slowly build up to be what they can be. It is a 17-week season, 16-game season. So sometimes take more to get to the potential than others. That's fine too. I would go with the Falcons over the San Diego Chargers, 27-17. At Joe Cronin Show, Joe Cronin Show, you're on YouTube. Check him out. Search on YouTube, Joe Cronin Show. His New England Patriots against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to go with the Patriots over the Steelers. Big Ben Roethlisberger is out for 4 to 6 weeks, I believe. So we definitely won't be at this game. At home against the Patriots. Patriots and Tom Brady on the crushing NFL, kind of thing going on after Tom Brady, after his 4-game suspension, deflated. I see New England getting a win. And getting a win big here, 45-13 Patriots over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sunday Night Football on NBC. Seattle Seahawks versus Arizona Cardinals. I have the Arizona Cardinals over the Seattle Seahawks, 35-24. Monday Night Football on ESPN, 7:30 start on Monday, October 24th. Brock Osweiler, not Brock Lesnar, but Brock Osweiler, and the Houston Texans going to Denver. Brock going back to Denver, faces former team, kind of like in my game of the week with the Eagles and Vikings, with Sam Bradford going back to his former stomping ground, so to speak, in Philadelphia. And the Philadelphia Eagles, Texans against the Broncos. But unlike with Sam Bradford going back to Philadelphia, I have Sam Bradford getting the win. Brock Osweiler, I don't see getting the win. I see my friend at Get With It Sports Glass of Team Boy TV Live. His Denver Broncos getting a big win here over the Houston Texans and against Brock Osweiler with that ferocious Broncos defense. Hey, you never know. Broncos, Vikings, Super Bowl. Never know. I'm going to go with the Broncos over the Texans for this week because that's what I do know. Broncos over the Texans, 42-21. So those are my predictions for Week 7 in the National Football League. Yes, Mark. Hey, Mark. Hey, look at that. Mark is in the chat watching live. Hey, if you want, you're welcome to join in. I did give you the link to the episode if you want to join in for a couple of minutes. Next week, or not, tomorrow night, I will have Steve's Wrestling Ramble with the great Mark Rambo TV. We'll be talking WWE, talking about Brock Lesnar, Bill Goldberg, and others. Palmer in the chat asking, do you think the Panthers, which is his team, will be last place in the NFC South when all is said and done? That's a good question, obviously, and thank you for the question, of course. I'm actually going to say no. I'm actually going to think that the Saints might actually be last. But I would be surprised if it is Carolina. But I do see Carolina, just like I was talking about the San Diego Chargers, I see Carolina getting their identity back, slowly getting into the rhythm of things for the season, and moving on up, maybe even be able to be in the playoffs. And the Carolina Panthers being actually, it looks like they're on a bye week because Big Q of Team Boy TV Live and Palmer J Simmons here of the chat. Their team are the Carolina Panthers, so I don't think they will. I won't be surprised if they are, but I don't think they're going to be last. I don't know if Mark Rample's still here, but Mark, you're welcome to join in. Like I said, send you the link. Welcome to join the show. Say hello. You don't have to be here long. I don't know if he's still here, but anyways. Actually, I want to check something before we sign off. Apologies for the silence. Just have to check something out. Oh, wait. Well, no, I don't see the Panthers being last place. I mean, Mark Rambo TV, and my co-host for Steve's Wrestling Ramble here on the chat, saying he actually will be coming on the show here for a short time, and I appreciate that. But his question was, do you think the will win the AFC West? So I don't know who the is. Is he talking about the Panthers? Because they're not part of the AFC West. But I mean AFC South. See, I even read that wrong. Do you think the blank? I think it's the blank will win the AFC South. Sure, the blank will win. Someone's going to win that division. For some reason, I can't think of the 14th part of the AFC South division. Well, let's go each team by team, actually, for the AFC South. We have the Texans. Right now, looking at the standings for the AFC South, we have the Texans 4-2, Titans 3-3, Jaguars 2-3, and the Colts 2-4. Who do I think would win the AFC? Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were asking for a specific team. Like I said, you're welcome to ask that question again when you jump on. But to answer your question right now, who do I think will be the AFC South champions? I'm gonna go with the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars getting enough wins to make it in the playoffs. Like I said, they're part of my 4 teams, as I explained with my other guest, John, for the Jaguars being part of the 4 teams with the Oakland Raiders, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and with the Los Angeles Rams being the 4 teams that I see making the playoffs in the NFL. My bold prediction, which is why it's called a bold prediction, and no one else having the cojones to make a prediction like I made, and welcome to share that prediction with others as well that I made, whether I'm right or wrong. It's still, you have to put yourself out there to make a difference in a way too. The biggest rewards in life also take risk. So, risk reward. Anyways, I have the Texans winning the division, Jaguars second place, the Colts third place, and the Titans fourth place for the AFC South division at the end. Now, I also have to check, though, and Mark is welcome to do that too. Oh, I would love to see that, Palmer. Palmer's saying Jaguars is going to win the AFC South. I would want that. Like I said, they're part of my bold predictions, so I would like to have the Jaguars, the Rams, the Buccaneers, and the Raiders, my 4 teams of the bold predictions, to win their respective divisions. I mean, that would wreak a total awesomeness. That'd be awesome. It would be, but realistically, I don't think I have them. And if you, Mark Rambo, Palmer, J Simmons, if you both check out one of my earlier episodes of this season, which should be in my my now new playlist that I have for my podcasts. So, go to the one Talking Packers with Steve, of course, and look for one of the early ones of the season where I have in the title my predictions for the 2016 season and see specifically who I have at that moment as the AFC South. AFC South champions. I think Mark Rangle is getting set up before he joins the show. I'm just checking here in the chat and other things. See, now this is why I want to grow. As I say in the past, this is why I want to grow subscribers, want to grow all this other stuff, fan base, to have interactions with Palmer, Mark, and others that are NFL fans, and then also for the wrestling show. And yes, I did see your live reaction, Palmer. I actually saw it late last night. I finally got a couple moments to watch that because I was watching one of my TV shows, Last Man Standing. I was watching a couple episodes on Netflix of previous seasons in the evening, and then I went to see your live reaction. So very well done. I know I did enjoy it. Excuse me. I was going to sit here over here a little bit for Mr. Mark Rambo to join in the show. If he still is able to. I mean, if he's not, he's not. But definitely check out Mark Rambo's channel. Right, he has his reactions for SmackDown Live and then Raw and other sort of things. I was so excited that he also did a reaction for the teaser trailer for the Power Ranger movie coming out in 2017. I know I'm certainly looking forward to that. Now, another big thing that in the NFL news, I guess I can talk about while I wait for Mark Rambo to join the show, or join the Hangouts, join the show, is the Dak Prescott versus Tony Romo debate. I'm doing a new series for Palmer and Mark and everybody to check out if they want to. Steve's Take, where I do 1 minute videos or less or around there of my thoughts on a sports topic, and that is in conjunction with the ESPN First Take contest that's going on between now and mid-November, late November. So if anybody wants to share any of those videos, tweet at ESPN First Take, at Stephen A. Smith, at Molly Quinn, or either as well. I'll let them know if my videos are specific ones they want to know, and because I definitely would like to be, because the winner, there's one male winner, one female winner, they get to go on the show in the future, and then also get 2 tickets to a NBA game for their local team. So for me, that would be the Milwaukee Bucks for the upcoming NBA season, 2016-2017 NBA season. Looking forward, so that'd be kind of cool, and definitely hope to win that. And I've been doing it every single day since it started last week. Oh, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. But specifically with Dak Prescott and Tony Romo, as I said in my Steve's Take thing, like I said, it was a contest. And Max Kellerman's the other person I forgot. Anyways, I was saying, Jerry Jones trying to pull a wool over our eyes, or at least even his own fan base in Dallas, the Cowboys' eyes, that this is going to be a tough decision, and he doesn't know which way to go. And when Tony's healthy, and he's happy he has this kind of problem and all this other stuff. I mean, to me, I think writings on the wall should be pretty simple. It should be kind of like how it went with Tom Brady and Drew Bledsoe. Drew Bledsoe went down, Tom Brady came back, and the rest is history. I think the same thing should be happening here with Tony Romo, because his career could be Dunzo. And look at that, as I get back to the hangout here, Mark Rambo has arrived. How you doing this evening?
Good, how are you doing, man?
Are you there?
Hello?
Oh, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Mark, what's your team? What team do you root for in the NFL?
Well, See, that's a hard question right there. I like the Buccaneers. I'm gonna tell you that. I'm a big Tampa Bay guy. I like Vern Hargraves coming out of the draft. I like him since he played for Florida. But I'm also a big Ravens fan. So I'm kind of battling between the two. So I'm a diehard Ravens fan, but at times I'm a diehard Buccaneers fan. So as of right now, I'm going with the Ravens, even though they're on a 3-game losing streak, which is ridiculous. I don't know how you could lose to freaking Giants. I mean, come on. But right now I'm a Ravens guy. I'm a Ravens guy.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say if you were one of the Buccaneers, you should be happy with my bold prediction having Tampa Bay being in the playoffs, at least for my predictions.
Yes,
For the
definitely.
for the upcoming playoffs, having Tampa Bay making it. And I think if I remember correctly with my predictions in my earlier episode, I have Oakland being the sole team out of the four in the bold prediction, winning their said division. Um, but as Palmer brought up, I wouldn't be surprised, and I'd be very happy if Jacksonville, Los Angeles, and Tampa Bay all won their
Hmm.
respective divisions. Especially the way that things are going in Tampa Bay's division, you never know that could be the case. I mean, almost like it was the previous year with Carolina squeaking out, or a couple of years ago, squeaking out and winning division at 9-7 or 7-9. I think it was 7-9 actually that year. You never know. Tampa Bay could get hot at the right moment, get some wins, get some divisional wins there. Could take that division as well. Certainly would be.
I hope they do. I hope they do. I love Vern Hargraves. He's one of my favorite cornerbacks in the league as of right now.
What are your thoughts on the big news item of Dak Prescott versus Tony Romo? What do you think Dallas should do when Tony is healthy and ready to go in Dallas?
Well, I think they should keep Dak. I feel like Tony Romo, for the most part, he gets hurt. From what I see, he gets hurt pretty much every freaking season. There's not one season that I've seen where he's not hurt. And I'm personally not a Dallas fan. I hate Dallas like I hate the Patriots. I hate the Patriots with all my life. Um, but I just think as right now, Dak he's on a roll, and to bench him, put in somebody who is just injury prone every week, I just don't think it's a good idea. I would keep Dak in, see what he could do, and when the season's over, you make your decision on whether to keep Tony or probably bench him. If I were, responsible for the Cowboys, I would
Mm-hmm.
bench Tony Romo. I would keep Dak in because what he's been doing now, he's been doing great, And if Tony Romo was in there, I could see him get injured probably one more time, and injure his collarbone or whatever, and there you go, quarterbackless. But now you have Dak, which is a young QB who's doing big things. I keep him. I keep him over Tony.
Okay, yeah, because that was gonna be my next question. What would you do if you were Jerry Jones in his predicament? But I guess to continue on that kind of thought process, would you entertain if you were Jerry Jones in his situation, being the owner of the team and GM of the team? To be quite honest, would you listen to trade offers? Would you want to trade or listen to trade offers for Tony Romo when the offseason approaches?
Um, hmm. I probably wouldn't if I was Jerry Jones. Just because of the he's a veteran. He's been in the league for a long time. He knows, the ways. He knows how to throw the football. He knows how to handle. He knows what to do in certain situations. And Dak, he doesn't because he's new to the whole thing. He's still young and he still has a lot of development in the league. So having somebody as experienced as Tony Romo there, you still have that maturity for the trade options. I think I'd still keep him,
Hmm.
possibly bench him, possibly.
Okay, yeah, for me, I would go with Dak Prescott, kind of like I was talking about earlier, being the same like with Drew Bledsoe and Tom Brady. Tom Brady taking over the starting position after Drew getting injured, and never looking back in the rest being history. I kind of see this way should be going for Dallas. Now, whether I would entertain trade offers and everything in the offseason, depending on what other teams are willing to give me. and there's quarterback situations, and whether they're desperate, kind of like Minnesota. After Teddy Bridgewater went down before the start of this season, kind of be desperate looking for a quarterback out there and getting Sam Bradford and them, and that working out for Minnesota in their situation. But with Tony Romo, I would, at least for me, if I was in Jerry Jones' shoes, I would listen to some offers. If you get one that you feel is best for the Dallas Cowboys and your team, then maybe you pull the trigger and you trade Tony somewhere else. But only if you get what you feel is a great offer, best offer for the team and even for Tony. Because I don't want the chances of having him back on the field, getting injured again, and not even being an asset to the Cowboys even in a trade. Because with him still being somewhat reliable, good player, and he's been a good player for Dallas for a long time. Of course, that's why we're having this situation, having these debates, whether on ESPN First Take or here on this show right now, of Dak Prescott and Tony Romo, that you want to strike while the iron hot that way and not try a chance and have Tony back on the field. Could get injured at the end of the season or start next season. Maybe trade him when he's still worthy and tradable, and that way, not damaged goods. So you can get something big back for Dallas and for your future of your franchise in general, to then now surround around Dak Prescott. That now going to be his team for the future and future seasons in the future moving forward. So that's the way I would go if I was put in that situation. Now, I don't know, or I assume not. But looking at the schedule for here in the week 7 and everything, would you agree with me, or what would for you be the game of the week for week 7? For me, as you saw in the background, being the Vikings Eagles. For me, being the game of the week. Yeah. Did you have any thoughts on if that would be your game of the week, or if you had a different game of the week for week 7 of the NFL season?
See, I kind of agree with the Vikings versus Eagles. I feel like those two are very similar in a way, other than the fact that the Vikings are undefeated, the Eagles aren't. I feel like they're similar in a way because they both have the same way of playing, in my opinion. I feel like they both similar to me. I mean, both similar to each other. And I feel like these two going against each other, it could be pretty competitive to see who has the edge coming out of the win. I feel like other than that, it should be an interesting game. I'm really interested in seeing how the Eagles are going to do, knowing that the Vikings are undefeated. This is the first time I've seen the Vikings undefeated in a long time. And then I don't think they're with Adrian Peterson. I'm curious. I have to go with that as being the game of the week. Definitely.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting. I kind of wish that the Eagles stayed undefeated. I mean, as I said even to John, that the fact of them playing Dallas next week, and then the game after that, I think could go a 4-game losing streak and go from 4-0 to 4-4 pretty fast, and the Eagles season kind of being in turmoil, so to speak, after starting off so hot with their star rookie quarterback in their own right. They're in Philadelphia and Minnesota keeping it strong, and I know that's kind of hard for people to hear from a Packer fan, but I gotta, I'm being honest here as well as a host of a podcast, that the Vikings are playing really well and a team that definitely, we could see in the Super Bowl representing the NFC conference. We could have them represent the NFC, and we have this rematch, Vikings Eagles, in the NFC Championship game, only in Minnesota, playing in their U.S. Bank Stadium, no longer the Metrodome, but the U.S. Bank Stadium. There in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I mean, that would be pretty cool. I might even, maybe, depending on that actually happens, go to that game for the NFC Championship game. But because at that point, Green Bay's out of it and everything, I root for, for any season. When the Packers are out of the playoffs, whether we miss the playoffs entirely or we're eliminated in one round or the other in the playoff thing, I root for either a team that's in our division or just a team maybe I just latch onto, I guess, on the bandwagon for those final weeks of the NFL entire season to the Super Bowl. Excuse me, to the Super Bowl. So like last year, after we got eliminated by Arizona and losing, I just kind of jumped on the bandwagon for Carolina because my friend Big Q of Team Boy TV Live, beat his Carolina Panthers, and now Palmer G. Simmons, his Panthers. wanting see them win a Super Bowl. They did go to Super Bowl one time before, losing to the Patriots, um, and was hoping for them to win it last year. So this year, if we're eliminated early, even if we are eliminated, let's say by the Vikings themselves, I actually would be cheering for them to go all the way to win it all, and not just representing the NFC. So at least that's how my mind works for the playoffs and my team, rooting wise. After obviously after they themselves, the Green Bay Packers are eliminated. And speaking of the Packers, I know I was talking with John because I'm a fellow Packer fan and stuff. But from you, from the outside looking in, what are your thoughts on Green Bay and our woes and Aaron Rodgers and all that other jazz? You think that us playing Chicago tomorrow night, actually Thursday Night Football on NFL Network and CBS, be able to be able to turn around against a team that's struggling even more, being in Chicago?
I feel like Chicago should be a very easy one for them. I feel like if they don't beat Chicago, then they have some problems. Uh, not to say that your team is not good because your team is great. Aaron Rodgers, I love the QB. Actually, um, I feel like they may be more in the wild card spot, in my opinion, when it comes to the playoffs. I feel like they're a good team, but they're not as strong as they usually are. Seeing them, I remember last season watching them. I do believe they went against the Cardinals, and they North Field and Steve, they got demolished. And it was like kind of confused because you coming from this team who's great, and other than the fact that Arizona is a great defensive team at the time, I was expecting it to at least be a better game, and hopefully they could learn from last season that they could become better. I have high expectations for the team because I like the team. I see them more in the wild card position more than solidifying their own spot.
hmm No, I actually I would agree that I think the Vikings are going to be winning our division. Like I said before, they could even sweep the NFC North in general. I mean, definitely for sure the Bears and the Lions, but even the Packers could sweep us of this season. I wouldn't be surprised or upset too much, depending on how the game goes, of course. But in general, I wouldn't be upset if they swept us this season as well. I know earlier I was talking about Brock Osweiler and brought up Brock Lesnar. I mean, Brock Lesnar, he played for the Minnesota Vikings. If only he played this year with this team, he might have his one chance to get a Super Bowl ring and then come back to WWE and face Goldberg. But anyways, um, but speaking of Brock Osweiler, I don't know if you've seen any of him playing with the Houston Texans and stuff like that. What are your thoughts on him now going back to Denver, and how do you think he's going to fare there on Monday Night Football with the Texans against the Broncos?
Well, I'm a little curious about that. Coming back to the team he used to play for. Uh, other than DeAndre Hopkins, I don't know who else he could really get the ball to when it comes to passing. I feel like he's gonna have a hard time knowing that the Broncos defense is as good as it is. It's gonna be a little difficult for him, especially. Wait, I'm curious. Are they playing at Denver or are they playing at Houston? I just know that they're playing with each other.
They're playing Mile High Stadium in Denver.
Oh yeah, he's gonna have a hard time. Just Denver, period. Just being the area and environment in which they're at, it's a little difficult to play up there. So I feel like he's gonna be struggling a lot, even though he's probably used to it playing in his days at Denver. I feel like defensively, the Broncos are gonna pretty much give him a difficult time. It's probably more of the run game, but even then, the run game is probably not going to work. I see the Broncos obviously taking the win on that, but I feel like he's gonna have an okay game. He's not gonna be great. He's not gonna be bad. He's gonna have a good game.
And since I have you on here for your first time here on the NFL show, which is awesome to have you on here, especially for this week. Like I said, a big matchup with the Eagles and the Vikings, but also want to get your prediction actually here on the spot. What would be your Super Bowl? You don't have to do the whole playoffs. That might be a little too much, but Super Bowl prediction. Who do you have in the Super Bowl, and who do you have winning and the score as well, if you want to?
That's a hard question. Unfortunately, I definitely see the Patriots in it. I hate the Patriots with all my heart. I will never like the Patriots. I don't like Tom Brady. Only person I like there is Rob Gronkowski. But who could they go against? You see, that's a hard question, honestly, because I don't want to say the Vikings just yet
Okay.
because you know they're on a 5 game win streak. They're undefeated. If they do end up winning probably these next 3 to 4 games, then I could probably add them in there. But they're only playing 5 games out of the 16 weeks that they have, or plus the bye, depending on the week. As right now, I see the Patriots and the Seahawks possibly. It's crazy. We're gonna probably have like another matchup with them, especially the way it ended the last time. Right now, I see the Patriots and the Seahawks. Things may change. Things will change. I'm sure they're going to change when it comes to deciding on who's going to make the Super Bowl. As of right now, I got the Patriots and the Seahawks, and I have the Patriots winning probably 36-28-ish. See them winning around there.
No, that's good. That's good. For me, from the episodes here in the beginning of this NFL season, I have the Packers facing the Patriots again, just like Super Bowl 31, and getting the win again. I don't remember specifically the score, but I know I have Green Bay over New England in the Super Bowl. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Minnesota. If the Packers get knocked out in the playoffs at any point, even if by the Minnesota Vikings, definitely be cheering for the Vikings. And Nanas fan, or on Twitter at Nanas fan, he Sports Gaming Universe on YouTube, his channel. He's a Vikings fan, lives Minnesota native, and everything. Would be cheering his team on for those. Next week's being a bandwagon fan of the Vikings, and hoping that they win the Super Bowl. If not, the Packers, of course, because it would. I mean, it would be interesting if it was Packers Vikings for the NFC Championship game. But the way probably things would go out in the playoffs, we probably would, if anything, we'd be facing each other in the first week with the division winner and the team getting the wild card position, kind of like a couple years ago when the Vikings played the Packers after winning the division. That way, the Packers getting the win. Because their quarterback at the time got injured at that point. They had to have Joe Webb start for that playoff game, and that we kind of crushed them into the ground after losing to them in Week 17, which helped the Vikings get in the playoffs. So, would be certainly interesting if that was the case. Any other NFL topics or thoughts that you wanted to bring up? And I thank you for being here.
No, man, that sounds about it.
All right. Well, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. To making the for my NFL show, and definitely looking forward to speaking with you tomorrow for Steve's Wrestling Ramble.
Let's do it. Isn't the Hell in the Cell prediction I do believe?
Well, yes, we will do that. That will actually be next week. Next week will be the Hell in the Cell predictions episode.
Oh my god, I thought it was this week.
No, I thought so too. Early in the week, I thought so. Monday morning, I thought so. Actually, I thought it was going to be the Go Home show. But next week's the Go Home show. Brock Lesnar showing up and everything. So then you have the pay-per-view on the 30th and the 31st. Brock Lesnar and Goldberg will both be in the same show, same time, on the road to Survivor Series.
Oh, so they're wrestling in Survivor Series. Okay.
So next week is the Go Home show for Raw. Then we have the pay-per-view, so next week's going to be our prediction episode. And then after the pay-per-view on October 30th, then on October 31st on Halloween night, the Monday Night Raw is the first Raw after the pay-per-view and the first Raw on the road to Survivor Series, where then at that moment, on Halloween, Bill Goldberg, Brock Lesnar face-to-face in the ring. So that's kind of the antithesis of that moving forward. But so definitely looking forward to talking all that stuff as well tomorrow on Steve's Wrestling Ramble. Looking forward to having Jay Palmer on the chat again tomorrow, not next week, but tomorrow as well for Steve's Wrestling Ramble. Where can people find you on social media, Twitter, and otherwise?
Okay, you can find me on my Instagram at Mark_Rambo39. And you can find me on my Twitter at LooneyTunes163. If you guys want to connect there, just hit me up. I always respond for the most part. If I don't, then I will within the next 48, 70 hours. So 2 to 3 days. I will answer. But
like priority
yeah.
priority shipping, you'll try to answer quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, check out obviously Mark Granville TV. I'm on YouTube. For me, nothing else really much to say. I did all my predictions for this week of Week 7. It's going to be a great week. To be honest, I'm looking forward more to my game of the week here. Vikings, Eagles matchup than my Packer team, the Green Bay Packers, tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. Just because it's a big litmus test for the Minnesota Vikings, seeing what they're made of, even more so than for the Eagles, a team that had a good winning streak, 2-game losing streak now. But I'm really looking forward to that game and looking forward to the whole entire Week 7, as I always am, as an NFL fan, football action each and every Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. So definitely thanks to everybody watching live, Mark, Palmer, and others. And those that will be watching archive, welcome to share this video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already subscribed. Like I said, share my Steve's Take videos, my series that I'm doing on my channel, to the people at ESPN and ESPN First Take specifically, if you wish to. And if you do, let me know. I will then give you a shout out on my next Talking Packers with Steve episode for dang sure, because I always appreciate people taking out the time to help me, so then I come back to help you. But as always, take care.